morning light. I lift my hands so high with every breath I take. I feel His love supply through the storms and trials. His grace my guide, with faith as my anchor, in Him I abide. He's the strength I need, my heart's refrain go. So lift your voice, let it rise like the dawn. We'll sing His praises, forever we'll carry on. In His embrace we find joy and we're free. Together we stand in His love, you and me. When the world is heavy and the nights are long, I find my peace in His everlasting song. With every heartbeat, I can hear His call in the whisper of the wind. He's the hope for us all. Every step I take, I'm never alone. So lift your voice, let it rise like the dawn. We'll sing His praises, forever we'll carry on. In His embrace we find joy and we're free. Together we stand in His love, you and me. With thankful hearts, let's worship and rejoice. For in the name we all find our choice.
Good afternoon, fellow targeted individual. I want to talk about deception operations. Deception operations are based on deceiving partners along with the target, because typically what happens after so many years of being systematically harassed, the target starts to figure out who is behind their harassment, or they see components of an organization which have ties to a group which potentially are being outsourced. And with that information, if they move to another state, it helps them to put the puzzle together. See, the enemy is exposing themselves, fellow TIs, and our enemies, they play both sides of the field. See, deception operations are about getting an all hands-on-deck approach, or being able to utilize mechanisms as such, and these deep state players have embedded themselves in a variety of groups. Some of these contractors, they have worked with fusion center partners. Some of them don't even work in fusion centers, but they have worked with major companies, and they have partnerships and friendships, so they know how to access information about a person's whereabouts. These operations can be so intrusive that when you experience gangstalking, it can leave you in a state where you're all the time experiencing anxiety. That's not the case for all targets. But if you go shopping and you're harassed, if you go to a gas station, you're harassed, if you go to a lakeside park just to park your car to watch the sunset and you get harassed, that can be nerve-wracking, because you're wondering, what's next? What are these people's intentions? Why are they doing this? And when is it going to stop is perhaps on your mind. Well, it doesn't end. I have moved from more than one state to be harassed in the same exact manner I've been harassed in other states. Now, I have noticed a dramatic decline in targeting at supermarkets, gas stations, libraries, schools, where I eat, worship, but I never know when they could ramp this up. So our enemies, they essentially do every single thing that they know would cause violence, or which would lead to legal problems. And since they're utilizing people which believe in these corrupt contractors and agencies, people will go along with it in hopes of getting more money. So they do a bunch of things which technically are not considered crimes. But if people seen what they were doing and how they're using many different players and rotating throughout groups, then it would be considered a crime. But if you exposed it and you went to Department of Justice, do you actually believe that they're going to be able to prosecute a CIA contractor or an active duty Army personnel group which is working with the CIA as a contractor? Or do you believe they're actually going to arrest cops that are working in a different county under some type of mutual aid agreement? Hell no. For a while, I had relatives which would continually ask me if I wanted to go out, and they've stopped asking me because I'm all the time saying, no, I have something to do. And of course, I spend time with family, and I show love towards them. But due to my targeting, it's made it where I really don't want to go to a supermarket. I really don't want to go to a gas station, a church, a hospital, an airport, or a parking lot to watch the lake. And those were things that I used to love doing. I used to look forward to getting on an airplane. I used to look forward to going to the grocery store to buy food. Now when I go, it's like I want to be in there 5 minutes and I want to get out as soon as possible. Now when I go to airports, I just want to get out of the plane and just get to my car as soon as possible. Versus taking a large bag, I prefer to take a small bag with 1 or 2 pair of clothes. That way I can just get out as soon as possible. Versus going to school, I prefer to get my education online. So our enemies, they want us to feel uncomfortable in our environments. Deception operations revolve around utilizing people that are sometimes gullible and do not understand what is going on, but at times work with the same groups which are funding both sides. So the enemy will play both sides of the field, and along with their partners, they may utilize people and say, let's give this guy the benefit of the doubt. He has too much proof. So keep a close eye on him and park right next to him. So essentially what they do is they do the same exact things that the enemy is doing, and they're utilizing useful, hate to say it, idiots. I mean, they're really not. They just don't know they're being used as one. And they're using them as fall guys. Now imagine you're complaining about targeting, but a group of people park next to you and they all reverse, and they show up at multiple locations. That is to annoy you. Now, when I hired a private investigator, that private investigator would be off in the distance. He wouldn't be all up on somebody, violating their space and privacy, harassing them where they eat, where they worship. Also, deception operations also revolve around the utilization of false flags at times, and also creating more hostility in the target's life, because if the target says, oh, I'm being surveilled, then these agencies or partners which are being accused may suddenly start pretending as if they're there to help you, and they may start communicating with stakeholders and say, well, hey, Sally from such and such corporation, we need you and your girls to show up at certain locations to see if this person's being surveilled, and we want you to park next to him as a group. Get behind him in line, follow him to his car, don't make it noticeable. We're here to help. When you just complained about being followed around by women with short hair, and they have rainbow flags outside their house, and they're retired U.S. Army, making 6 figures as a contractor. Would you want to be harassed by more women? So they try to create a situation where the target is harassed even more, and if anything went wrong, they're going to say they were there to look out. So essentially, they're doing the same exact things that the perpetrators are doing, because they work for the perpetrators at times. And if they don't, they're being used as a pawn. So it's very easy to see how a lot of these activities present the required activities that we know will lead to violence. So a lot of this stuff that is occurring in our country based on gang stalking is based on false flags.
I encourage TIs to check out this app called Device. It's for free, and when you install it, you may notice this right here where it says mic, cam, or unblocked. Now check this out. Just click that, and I'm going to keep talking while I'm doing this. Check this out. So when I press unlock, my voice is heard. Let me press seal again so that way you can see that this thing actually works. It blocks your microphone, and it prevents perps from being able to listen in on what you're talking about, because there's a lot of spies in this country. Now, we TIs, we have nothing to hide, but nobody likes having people spy upon them. It's just rude, it's intrusive, and it's a constitutional infringement.
In the shadows, they try to haunt me, but I've got a light that they can't see. Harassed in the streets, but I'm still standing, with faith in my heart and my Lord commanding. Touched by the hand of the Almighty, no weapon formed against me shall thrive. You may gang stalk and scheme, but I won't break. My God is with me, it's the truth I stake. In the depths of despair, His love's my guide. I'm a warrior for Christ with Him by my side. They slander my name in the schoolyards, but I'm not falling for their cruel charades. God's love surrounds me like a shield, so strong to the chaos. In His arms I belong. With a spirit that lifts me higher, I rise up with courage from the fire. You may gang stalk and scheme, but I won't break. My God is with me, it's the truth I stake. In the depths of despair, His love's my guide. I'm a warrior for Christ with Him by my side. So pray for the light, let it shine bright. In this battle of faith I'll stand and fight.